Christmas Eve. I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I've had a bit of a head cold and got better, but then grandkids came and family, and we've just been having the greatest time. So I hope you're doing well, all of you. I understand that Christmas time can be very sensitive, and for the first time in our lives, I'm tasting that a bit. You know, with our passing of little Miss Jane this past February, Christmas, holidays, family get-togethers. It's hard not to feel something, you know, like we're missing somebody here, you know, kind of thing. But it's certainly been joyous, and we are so blessed as a family. It's just, it really is good. I want to read something. I want to read a hymn that we sing this time of year, a Christmas carol, Christmas hymn. But really, it's not about Christmas. This is about the second coming of Jesus, and I know you all know this, okay? So I'm not telling you anything here that you don't already know. But let's just read joy to the world. And today really isn't a Christmas message, but I just thought I'd start off with this. It's in our hymn book, hymn number 21. Remember, you'd always have the kind of the militant person. It's not page number. It's hymn number, you know, okay. So hymn number 201, Joy to the World. And I'm just going to read the verses. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And saints and angels sing, and saints and angels sing, and saints and angels sing. Rejoice, rejoice when Jesus reigns. So this is definitely second coming. And saints their songs employ. We're part of this. We are part of this great event. While fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. No more will sin. Now, this is definitely second coming. This is during the millennial reign. And sorrow grow. So no more sin and no more sorrow. Nor thorns infest the grounds. This will be paradisiacal glory, right? He'll come and make the blessings flow far as the curse was found. Far as the curse was found. Far as the curse was found. He will heal that curse that happened at the fall. Last verse. Rejoice, rejoice in the Most High, while Israel spreads abroad. See, I love this because we're talking about gathering scattered Israel, but we're also talking about, in order for that to take place, Israel has to spread abroad. We are Israel. Like stars that glitter in the sky, and ever worship God, and ever worship God, and ever worship God. Okay, I just had to start with that because so often, you know, it's just automatic. This is about Jesus' birth. But really, it's not. I don't know if we should sing this at Easter time, but in all reality, it starts at the birth. It starts at the birth. So I have a really awesome announcement to make. I'm hoping we can pull this off, but Legacy Tours and myself will be hosting a trip to Israel that's kind of a fast moving it's on the fast track. It's in February. So just a month away. So it's February 8th through the 19th. February 8th through the 19th. I'm just going to read from their website. I'll put the link in the comment section. I'll pin it, and you can look for yourself. The pricing, it's $3,200 a person based on double occupancy. I won't get into all that. This isn't that okay. We've been trying to get to Israel for a while, and we know all the things that have been going on. But we really feel like, and the representatives that Legacy Tours has in Israel feels like this is a good, safe time. We have an Arab bus driver. This will be a smaller group, 12, 15 type people, I would say, if we can pull this off. And really, it all depends on you. If we have enough interest, we're doing it. We are doing it. So our first day, so again, this is February 8th through the 19th. Our first day would be a travel day. And here, let me just tell you quick what the tour includes. Now, look, I got to be upfront with you. I don't think Sue is going to make this particular trip. She has a lot going on in her life right now, and needs a little more time to plan. I'm more like, yeah, let's do it, and then go, crap, maybe I needed, but no, we're going for it. So I'm with you the whole time. Now look, I will dedicate every second and minute to teaching, inspiring, doing whatever it takes to make you feel safe, number one, and number two, feel the spirit of the Holy Land. We'll talk about so many different things and different events and scriptural. We'll be in the scriptures the whole time. This is really a chance to not only be in the Holy Land, but to have it just penetrate you so much, you will feel like you are going home. No matter where you're from, Israel is our home. So, okay. So it includes me, 10 nights hotel accommodations, nine full days of sightseeing. I would say this is more of a learning than just sightseeing, but we have an air-conditioned motor coach. So February, I've been there in February before, maybe a little bit later than this, like a couple of weeks later towards the end of February. But you will definitely experience kind of St. George-ish type weather if you've been to St. George, Utah. That time of year, it can get nice and warm, 70s, but it also can be cool with sometimes some rain. But it's absolutely beautiful. It will be amazing. We have breakfast and dinner each day in Israel. We have entrance fees into places. Now, here's another thing I want to tell you about this particular trip. We have to be flexible on this. So I'm going to go through the itinerary, but don't hold yourself to that itinerary. We might tweak it. We might add to it. If we can get into another place on the way and it won't take too long because our group is smaller, we're gonna get in to see some sights. Okay, we arrive. So day one's a travel day. Day two, arrive in Tel Aviv, and then we'll go to Caesarea Maritime. We'll just start up the coast from Tel Aviv and go and start heading north, and then we'll hit Nazareth. Or excuse me, we'll hit Joppa. We really need to see the seaport of Joppa. I'm hoping there's so many awesome stories that take place there, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So Caesarea Maritime, this is Paul before King Agrippa. We have all kinds of situations here and stories that we'll tell about the Christian martyrs, and we'll see. It's a beautiful place. We'll see this, and then we'll go to Joppa. So much significance there, and then Nazareth. We'll get to Nazareth. We'll probably end up being somewhere in Tiberias that night, I'm guessing. We'll see how that goes. But Nazareth is a place where a lot of tours won't take you. It's absolutely spectacular, and you have to be there, in my opinion. And we'll see the Church of the Annunciation. This is where Gabriel visits Mary, the young Mary, and you will be able to visualize all the things we're talking about this time of year. And Joseph, and we'll see active archaeological digs of the time period, with buildings built over the digs so they can continue to do it. It's quite something. We'll go to the Mount of Transfiguration, the Mount of Beatitudes, and Capernaum on day 4. We'll do the Sea of Galilee. We'll go out on the boat. We'll envision these awesome stories of the apostles and Christ himself. We'll make our way down. If we have time, we'll go to Bet Shean. If we don't, we won't. We'll just see how that goes. But we'll get to the Dead Sea, Masada, and Qumran next days. Day 7, we'll end up getting up into Jerusalem finally on day 7. So all the, 1 through 6 will basically be in the northern area, working our way down or south along the River Jordan. I'm hoping to get to, I don't see it on here, but I think we'll make an adjustment that we'll get to the proposed baptismal site of Christ at the River Jordan, and it's also the likely place where Joshua brought the children of Israel into Jordan. We probably won't get to Jericho, but we'll see, because it's all close. Once we finish the southern part, we'll move kind of up mid, and we'll go probably close to 4,000 feet elevation up into Jerusalem area. And there we're going to do the City of David. I'm telling you, this is probably one of the most exciting archaeological wonders of the world right now. The City of David, so many significant things being found, excavated, continual. From there we'll access Hezekiah's tunnel. There's both a dry version of that tunnel and then the Gihon Spring version of that tunnel. It's a magnificent built at the time of King Hezekiah under his direction. It's incredible if you haven't done it. We'll do the Cardo, Dome of the Rock, the Western Wall. We'll walk the streets of Old Jerusalem. We'll do the traditional Via Dolorosa, but we'll also do one that a lot of archaeologists and biblical scholars are saying that there's probably a more accurate Via Dolorosa, the way of the cross, the way of sorrows, the possible places. Now, here's what I want to say about some of these sites. We'll also go to the Holy Sepulchre. Now, most members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints would say the garden tomb is the tomb, and that's where you would go, and there's a good argument for it. My personal feeling is that it is at the Holy Sepulchre. Now, these sites aren't that far apart, okay? But it's hard to imagine things at the Holy Sepulchre because all the icons, let's just say all the icons, but these sites have been venerated over centuries, and there's an argument to be made. So you have to go to both. The way I look at it, you go to the garden tomb to really kind of feel the spirit of the death, the burial, and the resurrection. But you go to the Holy Sepulchre to go to a venerated site that really has some significance, and you have to go there. Okay, anyway, we'll do all that. We'll do Bethlehem, Shepherd's Field, We'll do the garden tomb, the Garden of Gethsemane, and Caiaphas's palace, and then day 11 will be a free day in Jerusalem, and then we fly home. Okay, so I think I've spent some time on that. I just go to the website; it's so good, and I'll put on it's Traditions of Christ in Israel, February 8th through the 19th on Legacy Tours, but I'll put the link to it. So I'm hoping there's a bit of a response. I know not everybody can do it. Now it's nice. It has a tour activity level 1 through 4. This is 4, okay? So you might be walking 4 to 5 miles a day, especially when we get into Jerusalem. Most of what we do will be walking. I'm hoping that we can get to the top of the Mount of Olives and walk our way down, and we'll see how that goes. If we need to do that on our last day, we will. But these are highlights. These are amazing things, and this isn't a super long tour, but we feel like we can fit this in. We have a really good window of opportunity, I think, to make this happen. Okay, now the last thing I wanted to talk about today on this Christmas Eve is a thought that I had just the last couple of days. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I'm a proponent that the New Jerusalem is it's a concept, and it's a descriptive phrase or word, if you want to put those two together, of not a one-time thing, but it describes a situation, a New Jerusalem. And I feel like Salt Lake City and the Salt Lake Temple in particular meet that description. Now, I've gone over the dedicatory prayer of the Salt Lake Temple before. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I'll probably start referencing that again because there's so much significance to that dedicatory prayer. But here's where my thought went. So we have a couple of years until the dedication, right? And a few predictions that I have for this dedication. I think this dedication time period, or open house time period, let's say, open house time period, will be several months, if not a year. That's just a prediction I have. I could be totally wrong, and I'd be fine with that. I'm wrong a lot. So, but I think it's going to be a long period of time. And I think for several reasons. I think the Lord is going to want millions of people to see the house of the Lord, the mountain of the house of the Lord. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I think this is so significant and fulfillment of prophecy. Now, when Salt Lake City hosted the Winter Olympics, was it early 2000s? President Hinckley was the prophet at the time, and he said that this fulfilled that prophecy. Let's read it. This is always Isaiah. It's also in Micah 4 verses 1 through 2, and it's in Zechariah. I read that the other day, but we're going to read Isaiah chapter 2. And we have to start with the first verse because this gets left out so much. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Okay? So the next verses are about Judah and Jerusalem. They're not about, they can be a shadow of, but specifically, and the first meaning are about these next two verses here. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Now, we as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we liken these scriptures to us in the latter days, and we should. We should. But the first meaning of those verses all have to do with Judah and Jerusalem. And everything else is a shadow or a type. Now, President Hinckley says that there's a fulfillment of this prophecy during the Olympics when, I don't know, I'll say hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands, I don't know how many came to Salt Lake and went to Temple Square. Now, none of those people went inside the temple unless you were a temple recommend holder, a member of the church. So, and fulfillment, I've said this before, if you are a subscriber to something and your subscription is fulfilled on a regular basis, a monthly basis, every 3 months or whatever, it's fulfilled every, whatever time period. So it's a continual fulfillment as promised. Well, that's kind of how a lot of prophecies are. They're not one and done. They set up a pattern, and this is definitely a pattern. This Isaiah chapter 2, the first 3 verses. This is a pattern. Okay, so we go through thousands of years, 2,000 plus years. Well, let's say 2,000 years we go without a temple in Jerusalem. After 70 AD, it was leveled by the Romans. And so this prophecy in Isaiah, probably around 700 something BC, he's looking in the last days, as he says, and he said that temple is going to be rebuilt. And all nations will flow unto it. Okay? Now, there's another phrase that has so many different meanings and so many different fulfillments. And that is that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And here's my thought on this. And again, this is just my opinion, but I think I think it's a good one. So here's what I'm thinking. When it comes to the Jews versus Gentiles, and in this case, we're of the house of Israel, but in one sense we live in a Gentile nation, so we're Gentiles. So it's first the Jews have the truth, the gospel, the covenant. Let's just say the covenant, and then they lose it, and then in the latter days it's the last people to get it. In the last day, or the first people to get it in the last days are the Gentiles, and then the Jews will get it. So the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Right? I think it was a little confusing there, but you know what I'm talking about. Well, let's apply that to the temple. So the Jews get the first temple, but in the last days it will be the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It will be in a Gentile nation, and it will be a remnant of Israel. It will be Ephraim, in a sense, representing the northern kingdom, who builds the mountain of the house of the Lord. And my feeling is that during this open house of this brand new, newly constructed Salt Lake Temple, this will be fulfilled probably, in my opinion, for the last time. The last time. Your subscription is complete. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So my feeling is that this temple, the Salt Lake Temple, and this might be new thought here, has to be an open house for all the nations to flow. What does it say? Shall flow unto it. Now that's not to say into it, and I get that, but they'll actually be able to go inside the mountain of the Lord's house. And because the first shall be last and the last shall be first, I feel like this temple has to be open to millions of people to view it and see it, and come unto it from all nations that represent the earth, languages, however you want to classify a nation. And then once that is done, that temple will probably take a month to get it ready for dedication. And then once that temple is dedicated, then my opinion is that the mountain of the Lord's house in Jerusalem can be established. Now, it could already have been built by then. There could be miraculous things happen, but the dedication of it won't happen until after the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple. That's my theory. That's my thought. I also have another thought that this dedicatory prayer that will be offered for the Salt Lake Temple will have some major significant meaning for the millennial reign and the second coming of the Savior. My personal feeling is it won't be President Nelson. And I'll tell you why. It fits, obviously his age, right? But that's not it. If the Lord wants him to live to 105, that'd be easy for him to do, or more. I'm not. The age isn't the thing for me. What the thing is for me is the Lord's pattern. It was the pattern of Joseph Smith to get the prophet of the restoration, bring forth the Book of Mormon, all the things he did, but it wasn't his mission to bring the saints to Salt Lake. That was Brigham Young. So really, in a sense, Joseph was like the Moses. It wasn't Moses' place to bring the children of Israel into the promised land. He did everything else. But Joshua was. And so there will be a Joshua that will dedicate this temple, in my opinion. There'll be a Joshua that will that as he led the children of Israel into the promised land after Moses did all the groundwork, if you will. So my feeling is President Nelson will be a Moses or a Joseph Smith in this preparation for the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple, which will encompass so many things. I also predict a spiritual outpouring at that time. This coincides with a lot of things. The whole election of President Trump and the turning point of people more to God than under the last administration. People turning to prayer, people turning to Christ and being bold about it, not in an unrighteous way, but in a righteous way. This could all have been done just for the dedication of this temple in Salt Lake City. The nation, the people, all prepared for this spectacular event. Of course, these are all just my thoughts, and I'm not prophesying anything. I'm not qualified to do that. But I certainly can have some insights and some feelings and some hope that this could happen. I think we will witness spiritual manifestations that will rival that of the Kirtland Temple, and that we will truly see that this will be a culmination of so many things in preparation for the second coming of the Lord. Now, it's a building, right? It's a building. But the building represents an attitude, just as the great building of Solomon's temple, the first temple on the Temple Mount, Mount Moriah, where Abraham was asked to sacrifice Isaac. And this became the temple site of sacredness, of covenant making, and of covenant keeping. And this is what creates the blessing of the Salt Lake Temple and its dedication, is a rededication of the people to make and keep covenants with the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then after that event will be the event of the dedication of the temple in Jerusalem. And so I look so forward to this, because I really feel now, like I've never felt before, that the Salt Lake Temple has to be dedicated prior to the dedication of the temple in Jerusalem. Now you'll ask, okay, who's going to dedicate that temple? This can be an interesting process. I don't believe it'll be the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that will build that temple. President Wilford Woodruff, on several occasions, said that the Jews will return to Jerusalem in unbelief, but they will gather, they will rebuild their city, and they will rebuild their temple. Okay, I think this is significant. Now, we've talked at length about the Temple Institute, the Kohanim, the priests, the Levite priests, the red heifer, the ashes, which really the red heifer can be done at basically any time, I think, is what they're saying. It's not me telling them, hey, you can do that at any time. That's not what I'm saying. But I think they can actually perform that and then hold on to those ashes for the cleansing and purification process of the building and the dedication of the temple. Now, we have some very interesting scriptures in Thessalonians that talk about the abomination taking place in the temple, and it says the temple of God. We could actually go there if you like, because it... Let's read this. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth... Okay, now this is a key, verse 4, you got to focus on this, because we ignore this quite often as Latter-day Saints. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. This is the son of perdition, okay? This is the bad guy. Now, we have to finish these verses. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? So this is Paul speaking to the Thessalonians and visiting this subject with them. And now we know what withholdeth that ye might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who has now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Now listen to this. And then shall that wicked be revealed. whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, and all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay, so it sounds like to me that this temple will be built. It will be built by Levite and authority, and it'll be okay. God's going to, the great Jehovah is going to be okay with them building, his people building that temple, in my opinion. But there is going to be an entity, whether it's the Antichrist or whether it's Satan himself. Now, the footnote for son of perdition is Satan, okay? I can argue both ways on that, but because we could go to the book of Revelation and you have the individual giving life to the beast and all that. We won't go there right now for the purpose of this video. But there's going to be an event take place in that temple where God's going to go, I'm not having this. And Christ himself, it says, the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming this wicked one, this entity in that temple. My opinion is this is the temple in Jerusalem, okay? So Christ himself, there'll be an open house, let's just say, an open house of the wicked one being in there and doing his thing. And at some point, Christ is going to go, and the word of my mouth will consume him at the brightness of his coming. Now, my feeling is this is when his feet will touch the top of the Mount of Olives. There'll be a lot of confusion, chaos, let's say, going on at the time. Prior to this, we have the Battle of Armageddon. We have a lot of things. We have the prophets in the streets. But we have this situation here where someone is a fake and a phony and doing fake and phony miracles. That I shouldn't say they're fake and phony. They're miracles, but they come from the dark side. And Christ will destroy at the brightness of his coming. I love that. So I think this is how it's all going to play out. I really do. There's a clarity, and it didn't fit in my head until I thought of the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple and the massive reconstruction of this temple and the footings and the foundation and all the work that went in so that this temple can survive a great, great earthquake. So let me know what you think in the comments. Get in touch with Legacy Tours if that tour is of interest to you. This might be for a little more of the adventurous spirit that's among some of you, that you're kind of ready to just jump into this and go. I'm excited. I hope we get enough people that we can actually make it worthwhile to go. So that's it. Merry Christmas to all. I love you all. Thank you for the support of this channel. Thank you for having us in your home. We'll get Sue on more here. She's just been super busy and enjoying grandkids and life in general. And so we'll look forward to the new year coming here. But first we have Jesus's birth, and we can talk all day long about when his actual birth was and this and that, but there's something about celebrating and thinking about it as a world, as a nation, on the same day at the same time period. And I'm hearing Merry Christmas a lot this year, which is awesome. Well, God bless. We'll talk to you very soon, and I'll leave that link for the Legacy Tour, Israel Traditions of Christ in Israel Tour. And Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you after Christmas sometime. God bless. Love you all. Bye-bye.